Mr. Henderson, how did your gym class go earlier on? Yeah, that's cool. All right, no worries. I'll just be sitting over here drinking some coffee, working on my science notes, because I've got a science class later on that I'm doing.
Right, emergency,
Oh.
stop, no, you should, right, no, Mr. Richardson, okay, I need to speak to you in private, fuck off. Right, of course, hang on, the formalities. Welcome to St. Shrivens, minutes, meeting, whatever. Okay, we don't need...
Let's get to the point, because it sounds urgent.
No,
What's going on?
Just disclosure, we cannot let anything that happens in this conversation leave the room, okay?
Okay, right, I'm with you, no worries. Okay,
you know...
Complete privacy.
Okay, you might not have known, but myself and the headmaster, we were going through some ideas for an anti-bullying campaign.
Okay.
I won't go into too much detail about what happened just yet, but it's gone slightly awry.
Alright, okay.
Have you noticed some of the kids have been a bit more aggressive recently?
Well, I have broken up more fights this week than normal, but that's mainly between the faculty staff, if I'm honest. I mean, you know how they kind of butt heads the science and the art department over funding and things. I mean, I had Mr. Jefferson in a headlock the other day trying to shove a paintbrush up his nose, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, no. This is the kids specifically.
Okay.
Okay, so basically the idea was we were looking at why bullying was a thing in our school, and what we could determine, it was that some of the kids were just weak.
Okay.
And so they were naturally being picked on by the bigger, stronger, clearly smarter and better children.
Well, it's Darwinism, it's evolution.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So we figured, well, what can we do to improve those weaker children so that they won't be picked on so much?
Yeah, put them on an equal level with the higher, tougher, stronger kids.
That was the idea, to try and get them equal. But the kids, I won't call them kids anymore. The things that have come out of this, we'll call it an outside school experiment. That's how we'll get out of this legally.
I think that would be the best way. Kind of try and push all of the blame somewhere else.
Yeah, Madame de Moore, the school nurse, she described them as an abomination, and she brought out her rosary beads. So I'm a little bit worried that we might have gone a bit overboard. You see, what I figured was, okay, make the weak kids stronger. Steroids.
How do we do that?
Steroids. Specifically, you know, we've gone a bit over budget this year as it is, so I figured I'd pop down to Shifty Gary and see what he has on offer. I'm a bit worried about Shifty Gary, by the way. I've seen him licking moss, claiming it'll help him when the Dark Ones invade, but that's neither here nor there.
That's neither here nor there. We weren't worried more about... So the plan was, we inject these weak kids with steroids, make them stronger, the problem sorts itself out, there's no more bullying because everyone's equal.
But...
Of course,
being from Shifty Gary, it turns out the steroids were specifically bull steroids. And
that'd explain the horns.
You were noticing them as well.
And the hooves.
See, I was thinking that was coming out of the religious education classes, because we all know how Mr. Clifford likes to get in when it comes to Satanism.
Oh, you can't stop him. He's over there. Don't even get him started. If anyone mentioned the word Satanism, he was straight over drawing pentagrams on the floor.
Clifford! No, leave that sheep alone.
Put the knife down, Clifford.
You've been warned.
Jesus. He keeps doing that at PTA meetings. That's the really worrying part.
Yeah.
Like, he'll come in and just, like, splash water on everyone and start, like, kind of bringing them into this weird cult that he's got about, like, you can survive on photosynthesis or something. I don't know what his deal is, but...
Yeah, I know. My skin has started turning black where he's poured some water on me, so I'm starting to be worried about that.
You've got that too?
Yeah.
I'm pretty much black from the legs down now.
Well, it's good to know I'm not the only one. That must mean it's fine.
The wife sort of likes it, if I'm honest. Like, my sex life's never been better. But... Back to the steroids.
But yeah, basically, as far as I can see, the bullying has stopped. But the bullying has kind of become an issue.
So what we've done is we've supplanted one issue with another. So what we've done is drop the Y out of bullying, and now we've made a race of, I imagine, strong. Are they strong?
Oh, very strong.
Strong bull children.
I didn't think it was technically possible to lift a building.
You know, that's why I keep spilling my coffee. I'm down in my science lab, lighting my cigarettes with my Bunsen burner. All of a sudden, I thought it was an earthquake or something. The whole thing goes sideways. My coffee goes over.
No, that was
big thing.
That was Billy Branston. You know, he's the little one with the dorky eyes and whatnot.
Oh yeah, and the kind of crooked horns.
Yeah,
no, I know him.
I gave him 3 injections. It was hilarious. He kept screaming. It was brilliant. But
He's been a lot more twitchy than normal.
Yeah, I don't know what the catalyst of all this was, but sometime during, I don't know, it was about 11 today, some of them just sort of, I wouldn't say exploded, but grew in alarming rates, shall I say. You've seen Bane from the Batted Mans.
Yes.
Similar to that to some degree, but with more horns, blood, and screaming.
You know, I did think it got kind of noisy around 11.
Yeah, I mean, currently it's only happened to 10 children. We've cornered them off in the closet. A very, very reinforced closet.
Because they are strong.
They are very strong. I've had to get Mr. Clifford to put a certain bewitchment on the door.
Just say
they're not getting out.
That's not going to happen. They can't get out.
The funny thing is, we can leave them in there for 1,000 years, and for them it'll pass in a second.
But so what we need to do is we need to figure out how to fix this problem. So
well, I've got some ideas already. I mean, we've already made a list of the other children that we we assisted with their issues.
Yeah.
And what I feel like is the best scenario to go through this is to, like I say, corner them off into a special room and be done with them.
Yeah? And then if we just kind of put the problem over there,
yeah,
and then close that up,
yeah,
and there's no problem.
I feel like that's possibly the best scenario for this. I mean, one of them we've had in there for about a week now, and their mother's been on the phone, and I've just given the usual excuse, who, never heard of him, no, it doesn't come to this school, and shredded the documents.
I think that's always the best way.
Yeah.
Not only that, what I do normally is I say, I saw a shadowy man hanging around outside the school, handing out sweets, trying to get people to come into his van. It looked like your son was going with him, and then the problem never comes back to me.
Well, miss, if you've lost him, I think that's your issue, not ours.
To say, it was after 3 p.m, it's after school time. It's then not my responsibility to make sure your kid gets home safe.
No, exactly. Read the contract we've made you sign. It says nowhere that we are responsible for your child's well-being.
And I think that's the best. I think that was the smartest move our legal department ever did, getting that on board, because we've had so much less problems than we used to have.
Not only that, but actually giving them blank documents to sign and then filling in our own demands afterwards, it really has helped the budgeting system.
Right? We've got like so many more finances than we normally do.
I know.
It's really good.
We could buy double the amount of bull steroids next year. No,
that's the problem we're talking about now.
That's the issue we've got now, isn't it? At least the bullying stopped. You know, when Ofcom comes to visit, we've got that statistic.
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. We have got like a group of parents going around with the teachers this afternoon to see the school. So, I mean, the quicker we can get these bull children away, the better. So I think the best course of action is if I meet you at a disclosed location, and then we deal with the bull children, and then we never speak of this incident again.
I've got it. How about we move all the bull children into the science lab and claim that one of the regular children created them? They will get a university grant like that.
So not only are we solving the problem, we're also helping the other kids.
Yeah, we're boosting our numbers as well.
I'm liking this plan.
Right, how quickly do you think we can draft up some workings out to realise bull steroids plus children equals monsters?
Well, I think pretty quickly. I mean, pass me a pencil and we can bash this out now. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll get that cracking. You know, we'll
Right, hang on. I've got a bit of paper. I've got a pen.
Okay, so put simply, all you need to do really is just draw a picture of a child, so like a little stick guy of a child. Art's not my department.
No,
like I said about fighting Mr. Jefferson with a paintbrush, and then plus,
how is he doing, by the way?
He's got the paintbrush out of his nose, so that's a start. and then we do like the bull as well. So that's the bull steroids, and that's the children, and then together they create a race of highly intelligent, highly motivated, strong bull children. My worry is, I may have passed by a situation developing earlier that I should have brought to your attention sooner, because I saw what I can only describe as a leader of the bull children kind of amassing an army of leathery hooved kids to kind of lift the building and then take it somewhere else. They don't have to go to school anymore. And I think I probably should have opened the conversation when you told me about it with that, because I think that's more of a pressing issue than this. We need to find a way to break the monarchy down, break the army straight away. So I think if we use more bewitchment cabinets and bewitchment chambers, I think we can kind of make the problem solve itself. We put him in one, the leader, and then all the other kids in the other one, and then there'll be no sort of, uprising, and no sort of overthrowing. There's been lots of talking of overthrowing and, bringing us down because we're not very good teachers.
How about, Janitor Clements?
Mm-hmm.
How about we inject him, and we find whatever catalyst has caused these monsters to appear, And as he's older, he'll be bigger and stronger. We could put our own agenda in him.
We could introduce a new alpha to the clan.
Yes, we could.
And then we're back on top.
That, or we could just get him to kill them all, and just. I mean, we've got plenty of space in the school's crematorium, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, like.
Sorry, the kiln.
I mean, after the last disaster we had, we did expand it quite rapidly because we thought we'd need the extra room. So I think we should be okay. So here's what we do. I'll meet you in an undisclosed location. Okay, you write it down on that bit of paper where you want to meet me. And then...
I'm going to ruin your lovely drawing here, I'm sorry.
Just write it on the back, it'll be fine. And then, right, we'll give it 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll break apart, and then we'll meet at this place, and we'll solve the problem. We'll put them all away, and then that'll be done, and then we never speak about this problem again. I think that's the best way. Now, if
I thought of a new enterprise.
Go on.
We can sell leather jackets.
William, I think we need to have a meeting.
Right.
Our client, Bryan Cranston, has been on the phone to me all week asking for more work.
Bryan Cranston again?
I know. I mean, I thought we could get around this problem, but apparently everything we've been giving him isn't kind of hitting the mark. I mean, we put him in Godzilla.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't
He was on that Jimmy Kimmel Live recently.
Exactly.
He's a very busy man, isn't he? He doesn't like to stop.
No, he always likes to have more stuff to do. I mean, I put him in Godzilla. I also put him in John Carter of Mars, the Disney movie. He was in that for a bit as well.
I put him in a box. He seemed quite satisfied with that.
He always comes to me and says, right, we need more and more work for me. Bryan Cranston is a train that must never stop. That's what he says all the time. He always refers to himself in the third person. He says...
I do see him walking around the corridors every now and again going choo-choo.
He says, I'm a train that never stops and I need more work. I need to be moving. I need to be doing acting more and more and more and more and more. So we need to think of things to put him in. I've been through the client list. I've got a few ideas. I was hoping to bring them to you and see what you thought.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay,
Fire him at
so,
me.
musical act.
Right.
I mean, I know he's not big on his music, but if we can put him in a musical act, that'll take up most of his time with touring, gets him off my back.
What do you mean by musical acts? As in put him with Metallica, or as in put him in My Fair Lady or something? Was that a musical?
I believe.
I'm sure we can make it a musical.
Let's make that. I'll get Andrew Lloyd Webber on the phone. He can write the score for it. That's an option we can explore. I was thinking we pair him with a novelty act from the olden days,
right?
And then they take a duo and make it a trio.
Like put him with Aqua or something.
Yeah, something like that. So I was thinking we could we give him the classic Walter White look with the bald head, and then we put him in things like we could put him in Right Said Fred.
Oh, yes, yeah.
He could be the third guy in Right Said Fred. He looks good in a shirt, and he looks good without the shirt, so he can do the whole dancing and everything.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well,
I know he feels very self-conscious about taking his shirt off. He has got a weird hairy symbol on his back. Not entirely certain where it's come from.
No,
Neither's he, but he just says you must not speak of it.
And then walks off going choo choo choo.
Yeah.
I find that's this way of dealing with all the problems, but I'm thinking, okay, musical act, we could do that. We could find him some TV work. I'm just trying to think of the least work we can do to keep him the busiest as possible. So I'm thinking we can put him in...
How about we capitalise on the facts of... what is he famous for? Cooking meth.
Yeah.
And boldness.
Okay, so we could put him in a reboot of Kojak.
I like it.
So we could try that out. We could pitch that to him, see if he goes for that.
Yeah, we could see. How long ago was Kojak made? Is it too soon for a remake?
Well, I think it happened once, didn't it? And then it kind of went away, and then they tried doing it again, and it didn't go so well. So I'm thinking they need the star power. So I'm thinking if you go, Bryan Cranston is Kojak, with the lollipop and the bald head, I think people will get on board.
Has he considered being a Mitchell brother in EastEnders?
I'm fairly certain I've tried to go with this angle with him before. Just, again, thinking about the bald head.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was too hot on it.
Which is a shame, because he can be very intimidating.
I know. I mean, and they're getting older, obviously. The Mitchell brothers in EastEnders are getting older now, so he could be like a long-lost brother that's brought in and, brings them back on top in Woodward.
Came to see his poor dear mother's funeral, because obviously she passed away in the show. What a loss that was.
I know.
She's gone off our books now.
I know. That's it. I can't get hold of her on the phone. I'm very concerned.
Well, to be fair... When she did ask for more work, we did find her a job, but she apparently does not appreciate being given work at an aquarium.
Well, I mean, not only that, I got her a job at a Burger King the other week as well, and she wasn't happy about that either, so I think she's a dead loss. I don't think we can please her.
Yeah.
I think Cranston, he's a marketable, bankable kind of guy. He's a guy that can make us a lot of money, so we need to keep this guy on our books. So we need to think of something to him to be doing.
I've got it. Going with the cooking angle,
yes,
he can bold up for it if he likes. I know he quite likes putting the bald cap on and shaving his head, whatever he does to his head. If we go with the cooking angle and we riff off of the fact, the title Breaking Bad, he could be in a cooking show called Baking Badly. Where
I see, yeah. It needs a gimmick. What's the gimmick?
The gimmick of the show is it's a cooking show hosted by Bryan Cranston. I know, crazy, right? Because he doesn't cook other than meth. But the angle of this is we get celebrity guests on the show.
Right.
You know, Bryan Cranston is just like a regular talk host, sort of talking them through as they come on to cook their favourite meal for him.
So we could get other people that are asking me for more work to go on this.
Yeah. I mean, Denzel Washington, for example.
I mean, he's not been doing much lately.
No,
we could get him to go on.
Yeah, so here's how the show will lay out. You know, we tell the celebrity guests, okay, you're just going to be talking with Bryan, just cook your food, he'll ask you questions, just answer them normally. But what they don't know is that Bryan Cranston is going to very subtly ruin their food. Baking badly.
So I see. He's kind of like a two-faced kind of character. He's giving them all the... on the outside, he seems quite supportive and quite creative. And he's going, what are you making there, Denzel? He goes, an omelette. Oh, that looks lovely. And he goes, look over there. Denzel looks. And then he smacks the omelette out of Denzel's hand, breaking badly.
Baking badly. We
can't
say breaking badly. I've tried that before and it doesn't quite work.
That's why our t-shirts didn't work out, didn't they?
No.
I remember now.
We got hit with a pretty heavy lawsuit.
I remember now. That's what the problem was. And then he just walks away, going choo-choo. Bryan Cranston is a train that must never stop. We could have other people on. We could get
Barbara Windsor on this. Then again, I don't know if he actually knows who she is.
Well, that was the problem with EastEnders. He go, oh, I don't understand what this is. He thought it was like a documentary. He was saying, I don't get what these men are doing. I can't understand what they're saying because they've got quite sort of strong London accents.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there was kind of like a language barrier almost for Bryan.
Yeah, we tried to. We sort of got him backstage, you know, behind the scenes, just to get him to see what was going on and just so he could understand it. But the moment a fight broke out, he leapt in there and tried to pull him apart.
I know.
I don't think he actually knows what a TV show is.
I think maybe he just kind of like wanders from place to place. And he just is Bryan Cranston, and then in post they just name him something else.
Yeah, it's like he actually thinks he can cook meth. I mean, really, he just sort of cooks like blue sugar crystals. They're very nice.
I mean, he always gives me a batch, and I always take them home. The kids love them.
Apart from that time, he did actually make meth.
I was going to say, apart from the time, yeah, and then there was a trip to the hospital that cost me quite a lot of money, and the foaming at the mouth wasn't very attractive, if I'm honest. But little Winston, he's okay now, so that's the main thing.
Oh, good to know. Did he ever get his eyes back?
Well, that's the thing about meth. It can send you blind, and once it sends you blind, it's kind of non-reversible. And the thing is, it kind of seems to be getting worse. Like, he's already blind, but it seems to be getting worse. Like, he seems to be getting more blind. Like, he's already blind, but past the point of blindness. He keeps going, Daddy, I now see less. And I'm like, we couldn't see anything anyway. He goes, no, now, but now I see less. Yeah, I'm fascinated with the idea of baking badly. So we get celebrities on, and Bryan subtly ruins their food. We could have Ainsley Harriott on, like a kind of
we could actually get like genuine celebrity chefs on.
So he's there preparing like a nice Middle Eastern curry, and Bryan Cranston, he just pours like a load of cooking oil or paprika or, I don't know, like sort of spits in it just to like ruin the food.
Can you imagine the arguments that would happen between him and Ainsley Harriott? Ainsley Harriott, what are you doing? Why are you pouring milk into my curry? You asked me to. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. It can be on the tapes. You asked me to pour milk into your curry.
And then we can like poorly edit it back to make like Ainsley Harriott think he's going bananas or something.
Yeah.
We could have Chef Ramsay on the show. Chef Ramsay, that would be a good...
the last time he and Bryan met, there was a stabbing. So the less them two are in the room,
less interaction,
the
the better. I mean, I was thinking maybe we can get around with the stab-proof vest, but I don't think our budget can extend to 2, and I think we'd need 2, 1 for each of them. So I don't think the budget would extend to 2. And also there's the neck that they can get to as well, and they're quite kind of combat-heavy men. They kind of know their way around a human anatomy, and the best place to stab with a toasting fork. So I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't know why they're convinced that them two make a perfect knife-juggling act, though.
It's part of the whole Bryan Cranston. He came to me and he said to me, I want to do a variety show, and we got as far as the knife juggling with Chef Ramsay, and then we had to cancel it.
I can't even open my email inbox anymore because I know by 10 o'clock I've got 50 emails from Chef Ramsay. When are we doing knife throwing extravaganza? When are we doing knife throwing extravaganza?
And it's just something you haven't got the time to do.
No, I've told him until he can pay the funeral bills for that cameraman, we're not doing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We need to get that revenue first, and then we can perhaps...
He tries to pay people in shells, does Chef Ramsay.
See, now, the last time he came to my office, he did try and pay me. He said to me, I've got a really lovely conch you can have for the cameraman's funeral. I said, I can't pay a funeral processing people inconscious, Ramsey, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. They're not going to go for it. And he said, well, maybe if you get like one from the coast, maybe they'll take. I was like, well, why would they need conscious? They can go out and find them. The man has a very limited understanding of how like money and kind of human life actually works.
At least he's moved away from shotgun shells.
Yeah, I mean, that was
a bad Thursday.
I mean, and then he kept kind of like putting a lighter underneath them as well, going, oh, it'll bang in a minute, and I just don't understand why he thinks that we can use that as currency.
But let's focus on the issue.
Yeah, sorry.
The issue at hand. Bryan Cranston, Baking Bad. Do we like the name Baking Badly?
See, I like the kind of the general idea, but I'm thinking we need a snappier title. I think we need to have something more efficient. And I think the best thing we can do is remind people, because what's his biggest thing that he's done?
Meth. Well, not done meth.
But he's been in a show where he cooks meth, and that's what people remember him by. They see Branston? They see Richard Branson and Bryan Cranston. They were in the show Breaking Badly, and they know he is the meth-making man. So what we need to do is we need to kind of incorporate... We're set on cooking. I like the cooking idea angle, because it's marketable. We can have thousands of episodes, but we need a snappier title involving cooking and meth. Excuse me, my catheter's fell out. So... let's think what we can do for cooking and meth. It's a show name. It's got to be snappy. It's got to be succinct.
How about Celebrity Master Meth?
How about Ready Steady Cook Meth?
How about we do actually get him and a celebrity guest to cook meth?
And then we can sell it afterwards. We're making double the revenue streams.
And a triple, because then we can threaten to release the tapes and blackmail them.
I smell success.
This is brilliant. Get a pen and a paper and get Bryan on the phone now.
I'm going to ring him now. I'm going to call him now. This is a great idea. I'm going to get it. I'm going to tell him we're not doing the Mitchell Brothers thing anymore. All right, said Fred. We're doing this now. Let me just... I'll call him, okay? Thank you for your help, William.
That's all right. I'll go back. I'll go release that woman in my closet. Bear with me.
You go and sort Chef Ramsey out. Tell him to stop lighting shotgun shells in the office.
Gordon! No, you can put the knife down now.
Hello and welcome back to Randy Pitchford Randy Radio. I'm joined today by my guest. It's Timothy Stoberman. Am I pronouncing that right? Timothy Stoberman.
It's spelt Stoberman, but it's actually pronounced Frauenhaum.
Sorry, Timothy Frauenhaum. He's here. He's in the studio today to talk about his latest movie. What's the movie called? Give us a little bit of background on the movie.
Well, I started writing the screenplay for this movie back in my early 20s. It really is my magnus opus, in my personal opinion. It's been my life's work. The title of the movie is called 80,000 Badgers.
Okay, awesome. And I also understand. Just give me a bit more background. What happens in the film? What's the plot of the movie?
Well, I don't know if you know how film works, but I don't quite want to give away the entire plot. Of the movie.
No. I mean, obviously, you want to, obviously, but. Give us a bit more information. What's the feature going to be focusing on? What are the characters? What's the conflict? Just whet our appetites a little bit.
Well, the film itself stars Peter Andre, who I think is a very underutilized actor. I mean, yeah, he's had his music career and all of that, but as an actor, he is perfect for what I needed. The film itself is just about the foil of man and his endless pursuit for a reason to live. You know, be it love, drugs, money, all of that stuff that can just be thrown into a fire. Don't throw your loved ones into a fire. That was a bad Christmas. But just about the folly of man and the endless chasing of a rainbow to find a pot of gold at the end of it. And let me tell you, that pot of gold was expensive. I had to hire legit leprechauns. And they are difficult to find in this current era of modern film.
And more about that title, 80,000 Badgers. Does it relate to a lot of things that happen in the picture? Is it supposed to like grab our eyes, or is it kind of, or is it? I mean, are there going to be, for instance, 80,000 badgers in the final cut?
I don't quite understand where you're coming from. I can't possibly imagine a scenario in any film where you'd have 80,000 badgers on the screen at one time. That just seems ridiculous. Why would anyone think that there'd be 80,000 badgers in my show?
Well, I guess mainly because you've titled the film 80,000 Badgers. People, reasonably would assume that they'd be featuring at least. Is there any badges in the final product?
Of course not. You see, this is the thing that I find most egregious about the current film industry, is that you can't have a deep, meaningful title anymore. It all has to be so surface level. Just have a movie titled White Man Does a Thing, and then that's your movie. Just a white man going around killing people, and that's the movie. That's the title. It tells you everything it needs. No, the point of being called 80,000 Badgers, you'll only understand the title is if you watch the film. You'll understand. You'll leave the cinema thinking, I feel like 80,000 Badgers right now. And that's when it'll click with you.
And what sort of emotion would that feel like? What are we sort of aiming for?
Have you ever been lying on the ground late at night, looking up at the stars, staring at the moon, just nothing but a deep, longing moonlight enveloping your naked body as a ferocious badger just claws over you? That's the emotion I'm trying to bring to this piece. Have you ever drank coffee out of a champagne glass?
I can't say I have.
That's the emotion I'm trying to bring here.
Okay.
Just the duality of life.
Of life and of man. Yeah. You're going to use Peter Andre. Peter Andre is in the film. Is this his first theatrical role? Has he been in any movies before?
I don't care.
Okay. What about other actors? Any other big names there in your picture?
No. Every role in the film is played by Peter Andre.
So it's kind of a one-man show. He's the only man in the film.
No. We've used cutting-edge technology to superimpose the likeness of Peter Andre onto every person in the scene.
And how many people would you say you had per scene?
There's one scene in an Arabian bazaar. I'd say there's at least 200 people in that scene.
And they're
all Peter Andre.
Well, it's a very interesting move.
The funny thing is that the love interest of the piece, played by the beautiful Judi Dench, so beautiful and such a talent. She was a very expensive actress to get. We had her in most of the scenes. It was a full 2-3 year production on the actual show, but yeah, in the end, post-production, I just figured, she could be Peter Andre. It's fine.
So even Judi Dench is in the movie. Is she credited, or is it just miscellaneous woman who is also Peter Andre, number 407?
She's listed as a stuntman.
Fair enough. I know, it's a very interesting fact I know about Hollywood. She just likes to often do a lot of her own stunts. Did she do a lot of stunts in the movie?
Even stunts that weren't in the film, honestly. Like, we'd be backstage just eating. We'd be eating at a Taco Bell, and she would just run into the kitchen, pull out 2 knives, and stab herself in the abdomen. I don't understand why. I mean, it was impressive. We all applauded before calling the EMTs, obviously. But working with Judi Dench was really quite the experience.
I can imagine it would be a very good name to have attached to your picture. So it's called 80,000 Badgers. It's not about 80,000 Badgers. I'm just going to try and summarise it to the listener.
It's not about 80,000 Badgers. It's about the emotions that the film brings to you, and you can only truly understand what the title is saying when you watch the film.
And was it quite a big production? I mean, what sort of budget are we talking here?
Well,
if you don't mind me asking, of course.
I don't like to flaunt around how much Hollywood clout I have, but Judi Dench herself, getting her for 3 years, getting her 7 days a week, 24 hours a day on call, was expensive. I think her alone ended up costing me about $2-3 million. And obviously Peter Andre, who was there, 3 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, he worked for, a meal. We gave him a voucher for a Domino's pizza, and he seemed happy with that.
Okay, sounds very interesting. I mean, I just want to talk a bit more about sort of the ad campaigns that I've been seeing, because a lot of the posters, there's some very beautiful work on the posters.
I've had a very heavy involvement with the advertisement.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, after a 3-year kind of project, you want to have... Would you say you wanted complete control over the project? Would you say that?
I consider myself an auteur, yes.
So you'd like to have... Which is understandable, it's your kind of dream, you'd like to have the ultimate outside say. A lot of the posters... Again, I don't mean to keep bringing it up because it seems to be quite a touchy subject, and excuse me if you find yourself kind of put on the spot by it, but a lot of the posters are featuring a lot of badger-related imagery,
yes.
dens, kind of scratch marks and things like that. And that's what kind of led me to believe that at least a badger would be making an appearance in the picture.
Well, of course it would to someone like you.
Oh, but yes, obviously I'm not
anyone who knows cinematography, anyone who knows the human condition will understand what I am trying to say with the film. Peter Andre is such a fantastic actor. He just has to give you a look. And you know what I see? Vacancy. I see nothing in that man's eyes. And that is perfect for what I'm trying to get across in this film.
Which, okay, is about kind of the emptiness of man, I suppose.
And Peter Andre is such an empty man.
Vacuous, maybe.
Judi Dench actually cut him open once. There was nothing inside of him.
Any other big projects coming out like later in the year? I heard rumours that you were going to direct an episode of a famous TV show. Maybe you could tell me a bit about that.
Well, yes, it was actually very interesting. I got contacted by a couple of agents very recently, and they're working on a show with Bryan Cranston. They haven't revealed too much information about it, but it sounds very interesting. I love Bryan Cranston. He's a fantastic actor, and also he's sold me meth before, so, you know, that's a win-win situation there.
And what about sequels to 80,000 Raccoons? 80,000 Badgers, sorry, my apologies.
A raccoon and a badger are two very different animals, two very different feelings that you receive from those animals.
So,
have you ever looked at a raccoon penis?
I can't say I have, no.
It's horrifying.
Are you thinking sequels? Is it a film you could produce a sequel to?
I think that the film's message is so omnipresent that it doesn't need a sequel.
It's kind of its own sequel, almost, in a way.
It is a sequel, it is a prequel, it is the past, the present, and the future of films. I have a feeling that when this film comes out, and someone older than you explains what it means to you, then films will just stop being made.
Because yours will have said everything that needs to be said.
Ever needs to be said about what humanity is and its position in the universe. But yes, I am actually making another film.
Can you give us any details? Have you got a title, for instance, or any actors that are going to be involved with it? Is Andre coming back again?
I'm looking into Peter Andre. He seems a bit busy at the moment. As far as I understand, he's currently down at the docks at Great Yarmouth. I don't know what he's doing there. I expect he's bothering the seagulls again. But the film itself, it's gonna be a bit more romantic. It's not gonna be. I'll be honest. I'm a bit tired of the sort of films that I've made all my career. So
you need to keep changing. That's understandable.
I'm going for a bit more of an romance action type of film sort of thing. And the working title that I've got for this one is Chainsaw Pigeon. Oh fuck.
Well, I imagine it'll get many people into theatres to see it.
I hope so. I'm expecting this one to take about 5 years to make. I mean, it's certainly a big project. The current working script is at least 7 hours long.
It's a big film, an epic almost.
It's a big film. We're thinking. We're not going to break it up into parts 1 and 2, but we're thinking of going old style and putting an intermission in between, just to make sure that people can go, get food, go to the bathroom, call their loved ones,
let them know where they are,
and how good the film is. Hopefully,
yeah, and then get more bumps on seats. I see it's a very clever marketing angle. Just a couple more questions. I mean, do you feel you've come a long way since your first film, 43.5 Blackbirds and a Bag of Chips? Would you say you've grown a lot and moved a lot from the start? Again, I've noticed a strong animal kind of theme. Was there 43.5 Blackbirds and a Bag of Chips in that film?
Have you ever seen one of my films?
I've tried to sit through them, but I get to the main title and it says 43 Blackbirds and a Bag of Chips, and I think this movie was not aimed or designed at me. Excuse me for being perfectly plainly honest.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, cinema's not an all-around thing. You can't make one film that'll appease everyone, and that's not what I'm trying to do. Clearly, like with my films, I'm trying to appeal to a more intelligent audience.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming into the studio. When's the movie coming out? When's the big release date for you?
I suspect it's going to be released Christmas Day this year.
Okay.
That's the only day it's going to be available in cinemas.
No long-term plan after that? Just one day of screening and then...
No. If people are that passionate about cinema, they'll come to see it.
Any idea on the DVD deals? Is the DVD, when the DVD is going to be coming out?
No, it's not going to be a DVD. It's going to be released on Betamax.
Okay. It's a very interesting strategy. I hope it all goes well. Thank you for joining me in the studio.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
That was Timothy Frauenhauser talking about his new movie, 80,000 Badgers. It comes out on cinemas Christmas Day. We're going to go for a musical break now. After the break, we've got a lady coming in telling us about scatology, the science of telling the future through someone's excrement. So that's going to be good. But the musical break, we've got a song coming up. It's the new song. It's called Princess Diana Was an Inside Job by the band The Big Sick. We'll see you after the break.
The Blight Show is performed by Blake Richardson and Nathan Woodward. If you like the video, please show your support by liking, commenting and subscribing. Oh, and you don't need to check under your bed for monsters. We were right here the whole time. Sweet dreams.